Hi, everybody. I'm Amy. Welcome to Art Conspiracy. We are here today to talk about black and white and shades of gray, which I think is a very interesting topic, one that I'm really interested in right now because I just finished illustrating a book of poetry, and all the illustration had to be black and white. And at first I was, whoa, I felt hamstrung not being able to use color, but oh my gosh, it was liberating in a way. Anyway, I want to share that with you. So here we go. Why do artists use black and white? There's really two different considerations about black and white. One is just an aesthetic consideration. There's a power in using black and white. I'm going to talk about that in a second. The second reason is to train yourself to understand value contrast. When you take color out of the equation, it really pushes you to understand the workings of light and dark, how they function in composition and mood and mark making. And there's a whole lot of elements that are very important that color can be distracting. My dog's barking. I'm going to pause for a second and be right back. Okay, where was I? I am going to do a short demo at the end of this video. So if you're interested in that, which I hope you are, please stick around. Okay, so things that we can learn from black and white. All right, let me jump into the artistic sort of aesthetic reasons for artists to use black and white. And I have some images to share with you. Hold on one second. I gotta go back to this one. Okay, now check this out. The first, I think, really important thing to understand about black and white is that it's abstract. I mean, think about it. There is no black and white. We see in color, we don't see in black and white. So when things are reduced to black and white, they're immediately taken out of the ordinary, which is which is what abstract means. A lot of people think abstract means doesn't look like anything, but abstract is to abstract from. And the best art shows you things that you wouldn't ordinarily see. And a photograph like this it's reduced to the starkness of the values. It's really quite beautiful. And, you're seeing an ordinary thing in an extraordinary way, I think, because of the distribution of that little sharp shape of light and that line, that diagonal line that divides this lighter gray from the darker gray. Anyway, it's just very beautiful, very simple. Black and white creates a certain kind of mood. Now, color also creates mood. Color is all about mood and feeling. But black and white it can be very dynamic and very powerful, but can also sort of be contemplative or angsty, and depending on the subject matter. Like, I was thinking about this, if you take carnival rides and you make it black and white, it's a little disconcerting because we associate certain things with color, and some things lend themselves easier to black and white. So anyway, it's just something to think about, the link between how important color is with the subject matter and the mood. Now, here's a very famous painting, Guernica, by Picasso. Black and white. He did not work in black and white normally. This is kind of exceptional for him. But this was to depict this horrific Nazi bombing of this village in the Basque country in Europe in 1937, where many people, innocent people, were killed. And he wanted to convey the horror of this. And he thought that black and white would sort of take you into the feeling of what he was, painting better than if he used color. And I think he's right. In this case, the black and white makes it more somber, more serious. And again, it's abstract and it takes you out of any kind of normal reality, which a horrific event like that does. In fact, I talked to a friend recently, and I think she was talking about grief, but she was saying that all the color went out of her world for a while. And I thought that was really interesting. Anyway, black and white can feel that way. This is an illustration I did for another book about writers. And this was kind of talking about the fear of writing. So this was meant to be sort of the horror genre, again, black and white and dramatic not black and white, but light and dark, really lends itself well to this feeling of sort of dread. Here's another very famous artist, Franz Kline, who pretty much worked exclusively with black and white, although this isn't exactly white. Anyway, I'm not going to get too technical, but what this does is it really draws our attention to the negative shapes, positive, negative shapes. And, is the white the positive? Is the black the positive? It's very dynamic. It's very interesting. And so these are some of the ways that artists use black and white to take us out of our normal reality and show us something new. In terms of what you can learn, which is the second reason to use black and white, the main thing is that you really do focus on light and shadow and the contrast of light and dark, which is so important to make your image stand out and read and have people want to look at it. And it can highlight and show a certain area. If the light and dark contrast is really strong in one area, we're drawn to that intensity. And so you can actually compose and focus and draw our attention to certain places using black and white, and also think about the graphic balance of black and white in a composition. And taking color out of the equation and just thinking about light and shadow is a really, really good discipline. And so what I'm trying to say is that the truth is that working in black and white as a student will teach you how to use color, because color has a value, and you can sort of substitute that in once you've established your black and white composition. Then it's easier to grasp how to work with the colors. So you're working with hue and you're working with saturation, but you've already got the light and dark figured out, which is a pretty big chunk of it. So anyway, that's something to keep in mind. So here's my little demo that I'm going to show you. I am teaching a class right now exclusively on black and white. We're going to use pencil and we're going to use charcoal, which is a beautiful bridge between drawing and painting because it's soft and smoky. And then we're going to use water media. But right now I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a little pencil demo for you. If I can find my pencil. I think I'd have it handy. There's my happy little pencil sharpener. I love the pencil sharpeners, and I'm in Thailand, and there's a lot of funny, cute stuff to use. Okay, so anyway, this is going to be pretty quick, about 5 minutes. Here's what I'm drawing. Very typical for me. I love this kind of subject. It's kind of a wardrobe, and I'm going to do a small drawing. I'm going to show you about the size of my hand. And this would be a typical, let's say I'm going to paint this. And so I just want to understand the values. And before I start, I want to show you something. You want to know, have it like a value scale. You want to know what kind of values you can get out of this pencil. So let's say we got the light of the paper. That's my lightest light, right? And then we have the darkest dark, which is as black as this pencil will go. Now this is a 4B pencil. So I can get pretty dark. Look at that. So somewhere in my composition, I'm going to use that. Look, it's probably here, right there, right? Maybe right there. And then I have sort of a middle. Maybe this is lighter. Do you see that? This is a little bit darker. So here's a value scale where I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. And I'm going to use them all. Dagnabbit. But first, I start with a very simple line composition. I'm going to block in my shapes. Okay, here's my clothes, right? Super, super simple. So I'm going to say, where's my darkest dark? And it's right here. And I might block that in. Look at that, so pretty. It's like a little thing here. Blah. Pick up these little things as you go. And where's my other darkest dark? Like here. I just draw this as a simple shape, and now I'm going to block this in quick. Here's my darkest dark. So I've established quite a bit already. Now, where's my lightest lights? Right there. So let's just put that in. And I'm going to protect that. Particularly, we're going into watercolor. So here, this is light too, but not quite as light. That's the light. This is light, but not quite as light. Maybe I got this little bin here. Maybe that's light. And then I start to make some decisions. So all of this is middle. And then this is darker, but not quite as dark as that. And this is darker, but not quite as dark as that. And then up here, it actually is kind of dark. So I'm orchestrating my lights and darks. I want this to really look light, so I need to go dark next to it, but not so dark that it's going to rival this. So you can get pretty sophisticated with your what's light and what's dark. Just takes time, and I'm working pretty quick here. This is kind of middle. On the dark side, again, I'm making this pop out light with that. And then I got a dark railing, something over here that's just popping up. Okay, and then let's say I'm just gonna make all of this working really fast, ignoring the flowers. I do this. Maybe I make all of this. And then this is the fun part. I smudge, and I put in some variations. Maybe I pull out the light. Oh yeah, look at that. It's happening. I got all my values. And like here, there's darker values in here. I can say, oh, some of these are going to be like little variation to show that they're suits. I can add hangers. Yeah, that's all detail. But generally, I've orchestrated this just in terms of how I want my lights and my darks. Darkest, darkest, even be darker with this pencil. Gets really black. I want this to pop out right in the middle of the composition. So it's a beautiful light and it's holding the center. I want darks next to it, but they kind of feather up so they don't compete with this dark. Maybe this needs to be darker. So you can see where I'm going, and then you can adjust, you know. I say I can make this darker just at the bottom and then go up. And that's the other thing that working with pencil and light and dark can do is if you're going to paint this, it shows you the painting is going to go softly from dark to light. And that's what painting does so beautifully. And that they also have a crisp edge. So it gives you a lot of information and you've sorted out your value. So I hope you enjoyed that little demo. I heard this expression, which I love. It's that value does the work and color gets the credit. And what that means is that, you know, we're very attracted to color. The color is very seductive. And so a lot of times we look at a work of art and we just, oh, looks so beautiful, but we don't realize that it's the contrast of light and dark that really makes it pop and you know, read. It's not really the color. Anyway, something to think about. So that's it from Art Conspiracy. I wore my black and white in honor of the video, and I hope to see you soon. So stay in touch. Leave me a comment, will you? Do you ever use black and white in your own work? You know, what do you think about that? Nice to see you. Bye from Art Conspiracy.